Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, April 3rd, 2023. Today we're going to go over the men's Final Four and women's Final Four. Head to the men's national title game tonight. NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball from the weekend. Look ahead to everything today. Soccer, golf, NASCAR, last night's episode of American Idol, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with the men's Final Four. It was one classic and one, I gotta be honest, a dud. And the first game was the classic as San Diego State beats FAU 72-71 on a buzzer beater shot by Lamont Butler to send San Diego State to the national championship game. It was some game, and FAU just had a phenomenal year, and it came down to that. They could have, if Wade misses and FAU's playing for the title, not San Diego State. It just comes down to things like that. And then in the second game, it was a dud. UConn beats Miami 72-59. And I say dud because that game felt like it was over at halftime. Miami made it interesting a few times, but UConn was not losing that game, though. They were just so dominant. All right, so the Natty tonight, 9 o'clock, 9:20 to be exact, on CBS. Your 5 seed out of the South region, San Diego State, against your 4 seed from the West region, UConn. If you told me that this was going to be the title game a month ago, I'd be like, no way. I mean, UConn, I wouldn't have been stunned, but San Diego State, holy crap. Believe it or not, I project San Diego State as a 2-point favorite over UConn. Total 138.5. I know UConn's a big favorite, and deservingly so, as they're giving 7.5. Total is 132.5. So the question is, do I go with San Diego State or do I go with the over? I'm going with San Diego State plus 7.5 and plus 270 to win outright. That is great value on San Diego State. They play defense. I know UConn's going to defend too, but San Diego State has this great formula. I think this is the most unlikely national finalist probably since Butler in the back-to-back years when Butler was in the national title game. And it's going to be a great game. I think the best player on the court will probably be the big guy from UConn. And he's a stud. And you know who else is a stud? Matt Bradley and Lamont Butler. Adama Sanogo is who I'm thinking of. And then, this game's going to be great, I think. I think it's going to be very entertaining. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. So I'm going to go with San Diego State plus the points, and I'm going to take them to win outright at plus 270 for the upset. And the most unlikely national champion probably since UConn in 2014, ironically enough. Well, the winner of tonight's game is the most unlikely champion since that UConn team. Either way. All right, women's Final Four. That was Friday night, and that was very entertaining. As the first of 3 seed LSU defeats 1 seed Virginia Tech 79-72 to advance. And then the big one, number 2 Iowa upsets 1 seed South Carolina 77-73 to go on to the women's title game. So Caitlin Clark in the title game against LSU. And LSU comes out on top by a score of 102-85 to win the 2023 NCAA Women's NCAA Tournament. Iowa was a 3-point favorite in the game. Total was 157. So LSU covered and the game went over. Ryan Rucco, his call for this game, and then the Caitlin Clark Iowa upset over South Carolina was just wonderful. And this was a good tournament. LSU was a great team. 2 losses all year. The only reason why Iowa was favored in that game was Caitlin Clark. If I bet on this game, I would have bet on LSU, and I would have picked LSU to win. Although I was rooting for Iowa because of Caitlin Clark. But LSU, congratulations to them. Kim Mulkey, great moment for her. She got emotional. And good for LSU. And obviously she was the former coach at Baylor. And then she left there to go to LSU. Because she's from Louisiana, or she played at La Tech, and so this is her second national title. One with Baylor, and now this one with LSU. So that's awesome. It's always good to see unlikely winners in each sport for the college. All right, NBA. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to everything for tonight. Friday. Bulls over the Hornets 121-91. Pacers over the Thunder 121-117. Knicks over the Cavs 130-116. Sixers over the Raptors 117-110. Magic over the Wizards 116-109. Celtics over the Jazz 122-114. Nets over the Hawks 124-107. Rockets over the Pistons 121-115. Grizzlies over the Clippers 108-94. Lakers over the Timberwolves 123-111. Warriors over the Spurs 130-115. Kings over the Blazers 138-114. And the Suns over the Nuggets 100-93. Saturday, Heat over the Mavs 129-122. And the Pelicans over the Clippers 122-114. Sunday, Raptors over the Hornets 128-108. Nets over the Jazz 111-110. Bulls over the Grizzlies 128-107. Blazers over the Wolves 107-105. Knicks over the Wizards 118-109. Hawks over the Mavs 132-130 in overtime. Magic over the Pistons 128-102. Spurs over the Kings 142-134 in overtime. Lakers over the Rockets 134-109. Suns over the Thunder 128-118. Cavs over the Pacers 115-105. Bucks over the Sixers 117-104. And the Nuggets over the Warriors 112-110. All right, no games until Tuesday. And Tuesday's a big slate, so everybody has off for the Natty tonight. So before we move on to hockey, I'm going to go over the standings and go over if the season were to end today, who plays who. All right. So the play-in 7-8 would be Atlanta at Miami. And then Chicago at Toronto. And then the second play-in would be presumptively Atlanta, Toronto, with the winner playing the 18th. So let's say Miami and Atlanta get 7 and 8. So Milwaukee would play Atlanta. Boston would play Miami. Philly would play Brooklyn. And Cleveland would play the Knicks. And Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Cleveland, and Knicks have all clinched. Toronto clinched play-in berth. Eliminated Washington, Indiana, Charlotte, Detroit. And then the West. So one play-in would be New Orleans at the Lakers, which would be sexy because that would mean Davis against his old team. We'll see about Zion. If Zion's back, then he'd play the Lakers. That'd be kind of cool. Ingram against his old team. So there's a lot of fun subplots if that's the play-in. And the 9-10 play-in would be Oklahoma City against Minnesota, which would be SGA against Anthony Edwards, which would be a lot of fun. As well, let's say New Orleans gets 8th, Lakers get 7th. Who plays who? Denver plays New Orleans. Memphis plays the Lakers, which would mean Ja against LeBron, and Memphis against the team that had, let's be honest, like that started like that little slide that they had when they were in Los Angeles, and the whole Shannon Sharp incident. Sacramento had played the Warriors. I think Golden State wants to stay at 6 because that gives them the best chance to advance, let's be honest. And then Phoenix Clippers would be sick because Chris Paul against his old team, Durant against Kawhi and Paul George. And this would be a rematch of the conference finals from 2021 as well. So a lot of subplots with that. And in Sacramento, Golden State's an in-state rivalry too. So that would be pretty cool. And then eliminated are Portland, San Antonio, and Houston. Dallas is a game back. So where things stand in the lottery right now, the 4 teams that are in the play-in, and then Dallas is out. I mean, if you're Dallas, you tank at this point because if the lottery goes to form, they'd be projected in the 10th spot. And then what happens with that Knicks pick? Does that become unprotected next year? Does that become a second? The outcome of the Porzingis trade is going to be determined with how the Mavericks finish this year. And then we'll see. I mean, the Knicks are certainly rooting for Dallas to get into the play-in and lose that game, so they would be slated to have the 11th pick. But now, where things stand, they're slated to have the 10th pick because the 14th pick would be the Raptors. 13 would be Minnesota. Chicago would be 12. And then 11 would be the Thunder. And Dallas would be 10. But I don't see any of those bottom 4 lottery teams, aka the teams that are in the play-in, jumping into the top 4. But you never know with these kinds of things. So if you're the Knicks, you're rooting for Dallas to get into the play-in game and then lose the first play-in game. All right, the NHL. We'll recap everything from the weekend and look ahead to tonight's games. Friday, Sabres over the Rangers 3-2 in OT. Jets over the Red Wings 6-2. Flames over the Canucks 5-4 OT. Stars over the Coyotes 5-2. Saturday, Preds over the Blues 6-1. Bruins over the Pens 4-3. Panthers over the Jackets 7-0. Canes over the Habs 3-0. Leafs over the Sens 3-0. Sabres over the Flyers 6-3. Lightning over the Isles 5-0. Devils over the Blackhawks 6-3. Avs over the Stars 5-2. Sharks over the Coyotes 7-2. Oilers over the Ducks 6-0. Kings over the Kraken 3-1. And the Golden Knights over the Wild 4-1. And then yesterday, Rangers over the Caps 5-2. Bruins over the Blues 4-3 shootout. Hurricanes over the Isles 2-1. Blue Jackets over the Sens 4-3 OT. Pens over the Flyers 4-2. Leafs lose at home to the Red Wings 5-2. That's a bad loss for them. Jets over the Devils 6-1. Bad loss for New Jersey. Opens the door for the Rangers to potentially get home ice in that series against them, and for the Canes to take a deep breath in that division. Flames over the Ducks 5-4, and the Kings over the Canucks 4-1. 3 games tonight, 8 o'clock NHL Network, the Golden Knights and the Wild. The Wild are minus 137. Vegas is plus 114. Over under 5.5. Over is minus 128. Under is plus 104. Vegas plus 1.5 is minus 275. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 176. I think Vegas plus 114. 8:30 Preds Stars. Stars minus 192. Preds plus 158. Over under 6.5. Over is plus 114. Under is minus 140. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 156. Dallas minus 1.5 is plus 130. For this one, I'm going to go with Predators under 2.5 goals, minus 112. And at 10 o'clock, the Coyotes and the Kraken. Kraken minus 320, Coyotes plus 260, over under 6.5. Overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Coyotes plus 1.5 is plus 114. Kraken minus 1.5 is minus 137. I like the over in that game. Alrighty, now move on to Major League Baseball. We'll go over the slate from the weekend and look ahead to everything today. Friday, Marlins over to Mets 2-1, Astros over to White Sox 6-3, Rockies over to Padres 4-1, D-backs over to Dodgers 2-1, Guardians over to Mariners 9-4. Saturday, Astros over to White Sox 6-4, Cardinals over to Blue Jays 4-1, Brewers over to Cubs 3-1, Braves over to Nats 7-1, Rangers over to Phillies 16-3, Giants over to Yankees 7-5, Angels over to A's 13-1, Red Sox over to O's 9-8, Rays over to Tigers 12-2, Twins over to Royals 2-0, Mets over to Marlins 6-2, Reds over to Pirates 6-2, Padres over to Rockies 8-4, Dodgers over to D-backs 10-1, Guardians over to Mariners 2-0. And then Sunday, Rays over to Tigers 5-1, Nats over to Braves 4-1, Yanks over to Giants 6-0, Red Sox over to O's 9-5, Mets over to Marlins 5-1, Reds over to Pirates 3-1, White Sox over to Astros 6-3, Twins over to Royals 7-4, Cards over to Blue Jays 9-4, Brewers over to Cubs 9-5, Angels over to A's 6-0, D-backs over to Dodgers 2-1, Guardians over to Mariners 6-5 and 10, Padres over Rockies 3-1, Rangers over to Phillies 2-1. All right, nice slate today. 2 o'clock, you have the Mets and the Brewers. Brewers home opening series. Carlos Carrasco and Frey Peralta. Brewers minus 120, Mets plus 102, over under 8, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Mets plus 1.5 is minus 205, Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 168. I'm going to go with over 4 Brewers runs, minus 112. I just don't like Carlos Carrasco very much. 3 o'clock, Giants, White Sox. Anthony DeSclafani and Michael Kopech. White Sox minus 134, Giants plus 116, over under 8, minus 110 each way. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 182, White Sox minus 1.5 is plus 150. I'm going with the over. Don't feel good about it, though. 6:30, Cubs, Reds. Drew Smyly and Connor Overton. Cubs minus 120, Reds plus 102, over under 9, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 134. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 162. I like the over. Twins, Marlins. Tyler Mahle and Johnny Cueto. Twins minus 122. Marlins plus 104. Over under 8. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Twins minus 1.5 is plus 134. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 162. Over in that one as well. 7 o'clock, you have the Phillies and the Yankees. Taijuan Walker and Nestor Cortez. Yankees minus 174, Phillies plus 146, over under 8, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Phillies plus 1.5 is minus 140, Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 116. I like the over there as well. Rays, Nats. Drew Rasmussen, Trevor Williams. Rays minus 188, Nats plus 158, over under 8, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Rays minus 1.5 and Nats plus 1.5 is minus 110 each way. For this one, I'm going to go under 3 Nationals runs plus 104. Pirates, Red Sox. Johan Oviedo and Cutter Crawford. Boston minus 148. Pittsburgh plus 126. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 128. Pittsburgh plus 1.5 is minus 152. Red Sox minus 1.5 is plus 126. I like the over. 7:30, Blue Jays, Royals. Jose Barrios and Brady Singer. Jays minus 124. Royals plus 106. Over under 8. Minus 110 each way. Jays -1.5 is +140. Royals +1.5 is -170. This is an over game, too. I like a lot of overs tonight. 7:45, Braves Cardinals. Charlie Morton and Jake Woodford. Braves -132. Cards +112. Over under 8. Overs -118. Unders -104. Braves -1.5 is +125. Cards +1.5 is -150. For this one, I'm going to go with over 3.5 Cardinal runs, -108. 8 o'clock, Orioles, Rangers. Kyle Bradish, John Gray. Do the Rangers remain unbeaten? Texas -132. Orioles +112. Over under 8. Overs -115. Unders -105. Orioles +1.5 is -172. Rangers -1.5 is +142. Over for sure. Tigers, Astros. Matt Boyd and Hunter Brown. Astros -230. Tigers +190. Over under 8.5. Overs +102. Unders -124. Tigers +1.5 is, and Astros -1.5 is -110 each way. Tigers winless on the year so far. For this one, I'm going to go Tigers under 3 runs, even money. 9:30, Angels, Mariners. Angels suffered their first loss yesterday. Reed Detmers and George Kirby. Seattle -148. Angels +126. Over under 7. Overs -120. Unders -102. Angels +1.5 is -182. Mariners -1.5 is +150. This is a hard one, but I'm going to go first half run line, Mariners -0.5 +106. Don't feel good about it, though. Guardians, A's. Zach Plesac and James Kaprelian. Guardians -154. A's +130. Over under 7.5. Overs -118. Unders -104. Guardians -1.5 is +106. A's +1.5 is -128. I'm going to go with the under 7.5 -104. Don't feel good about it, though. D-backs, Padres. Ryan Nelson and Ryan Weathers. Padres -144. D-backs +122. Over under 8.5. Overs -104. Unders -118. D-backs +1.5 is -166. Padres -1.5 is +138. Good on the D-backs splitting with the Dodgers. Padres split with the Rockies. I like the over. And last but not least, 10 o'clock, Rockies, Dodgers. Ryan Feltner, Michael Grove. Dodgers -10, Rockies +176, over under 8.5, overs -105, unders -115. Rocks +1.5 is -20, Dodgers -1.5 is even money. I'm going to go with over 8.5 at -105. All right, now move on to soccer. We'll go over all the weekend's notable results and look ahead to anything important going on today. We'll start with Major League Soccer from Saturday. Atlanta over the Red Bulls 1-0. Columbus over Sully 4-0. Cincinnati over Miami 1-0. Seattle over Galaxy 2-1. New England NYCFC 1-1 draw. Nashville Orlando. Nashville wins 2-0. Philly KC 0-0 draw. Toronto Charlotte 2-2 draw. DC Chicago 0-0 draw. Dallas Portland 1-1 draw. Look at all these draws. Minnesota over St. Louis 1-0, so St. Louis finally loses. Colorado LAFC 0-0 draw. San Jose over Houston 2-1. Vancouver over Montreal 5-0. English Premier League. Man City over Liverpool 4-1. Bournemouth over Fulham 2-1. Arsenal over Leeds 4-1. Brighton Brentford 3-3 draw. Crystal Palace over Leicester 2-1. Nottingham Forest over Wolves. That's a 1-1 draw. And Aston Villa over Chelsea 2-0. Sunday, West Ham over Southampton 1-0. And Newcastle over Man United 2-0. And then today, 3 o'clock, you have Everton and Tottenham. Tottenham's plus 115, Everton's plus 250, draw plus 230. I'm going to go with the draw at plus 230 in the English Premier League. NWSL from the weekend. Portland over KC 4-1, Houston over Chicago 2-1, Louisville, Washington 2-2 draw, OL Reign over Gotham 2-0, San Diego over North Carolina 3-1. And then Sunday, Angel City over Orlando 2-1. Mexican Liga from the weekend. Friday, Necaxa Santos 0-0 draw, Puebla over Juarez 2-0. Saturday, Cruz Azul over Pachuca 2-0. America Leon 2-2 draw, Monterrey over Tijuana 4-0, and Atlas over Guadalajara. That's a 3-3 draw. And then Sunday, Toluca over Tigres 3-2, Athletic San Luis over Mazatlan 2-1, and Querétaro over UNAB 1-0. German Bundesliga Friday. Frankfurt Bochum 1-1 draw. Saturday, Union Berlin over Stuttgart 3-0. Mainz over RP Leipzig 3-0. Freiburg and Hertha 1-1 draw. Leverkusen over Schalke 3-0. Wolfsburg and Augsburg 2-2 draw. And Bayern over Dortmund 4-2. Sunday, Cologne and Gladbach 0-0 draw. And Hoffenheim over Bremen 2-1. Spanish La Liga. Friday, Mallorca and Osasuna 0-0 draw. Saturday, Girona over Espanyol 2-1. Athletic and Getafe 0-0 draw. Sevilla over Cadiz 2-0. And Barcelona over Elche 4-0. Sunday, Celta Vigo and Almeria 2-2 draw. Real Madrid over Valladolid 6-0. Villarreal over Real Sociedad 2-0. And Atletico over Betis 1-0. 3 o'clock, you have Valencia and Rayo. Valencia's plus 105, Rayo plus 290, draw plus 210. I'm going to go with Valencia at plus 105. Italian Serie A, Saturday, Atalanta over Cremonese 3-1, Fiorentina over Inter Milan 1-0, and Juventus over Verona 1-0. Sunday, Bologna over Udinese 3-0, Lazio over Monza 2-0, Spezia and Salernitana 1-1 draw, AS Roma over Sampdoria 3-0, and Milan over Napoli 4-0. 2 games today, 12:30 of Empoli and Lecce. Empoli plus 170, Lecce plus 185, draw plus 195. Let's go with the draw plus 195. In 2:45, you have Sassuolo and Torino. Sassuolo plus 140, Torino plus 210, draw plus 210. I'm going with Sassuolo plus 140. They've been hot. French League 1, Friday. Marseille Montpellier 1-1 draw. Saturday, Auxerre over Troyes 1-0, and Lens over Rennes 1-0. And then Sunday, Lille over Lorient 3-1, Angers and Nice 1-1 draw, Brest over Toulouse 3-1, Clermont-Foot over AC Ajaccio 2-1, Reims over Nantes 3-0, Monaco over Strasbourg 4-3, Lyon over PSG 1-0. And the Dutch Everdice from the weekend. Saturday, AZ Alkmaar and Heerenveen 1-1 draw. Excelsior and FC Twente 0-0 draw. PSV over NEC 4-2. Emmen over Cambuur 2-1. RKC over Vitesse 1-0. And then yesterday, Go Ahead Eagles and Ajax 0-0 draw. FC Utrecht and FC Volendam 0-0 draw. Feyenoord over Sparta 3-1. And Fortuna over FC Groningen 3-1. Right, that's it for the soccer today. Now we'll move on to golf. we will go over the results from the Valero, Texas. And your winner with a score of 15 under, Corey Connors. Coming in second with a score of 14 under, Samuel Stevens. Tied for third, 13 under, Matt Kuchar, Sam Ryder. Fifth place with 11 under, Pat Rogers. Tied for sixth with 10 under, Cesar V, Lucas Hodges, and Byung Hanan. Ninth with 9 under, Andrew Novak. Tied for 10th with 8 under, Ben Martin, Ricky Fowler, Padraig Harrington, Chris Kirk, and Hayden Buckley. Tied for 15th with 7 under, Hideki Matsuyama, that was my pick, Sungwoo Kim, Nate Taylor, Lucas Griffin, MJ Dauphin, Robbie Shell, and Alex Loren. Tied for 22nd with 6 under, Jimmy Walker, Sub Straka, JJ Spong, Charlie Hoffman, Taylor Montgomery, and Peter Malnati. Tied for 28th with 5 under, Matt Walls, Nicholas Echevarria, Adam Putnam, Nate Hochar, Nate Hardy, Aaron Ray, Harry Higgs, Christian Zeden, and Harry Hall. Tied for 37th with 4 under, Roberto Diaz and Augusto Nunez. Tied for 39th with 3 under, Luke Bliss, Dylan Wu, Kevin Chappell, Michael Thompson, Saiwoo Kim, and Eric Cole. 45th with 2 under, Lucas Glover. Tied for 46th with 1 under, Estelonzo Goya, Lucas Donald, B.U. Hostler, Kevin Strillman, Michael Kim, Akshay Bahita, and Matthias Schmid. Tied for 53rd at even, Emiliano Grillo, Brendan Todd, and Pearson Cootie. Tied for 56th with 1 over. Now just going to go through notables. Trevor Werblow tied for 58th with 2 over, Brendan Wu and Tyler Duncan. Tied for 60th with 3 over, Henrik Norlander, Bryce Garnett, Jason Hadley, Jason Duffner. Tied for 64th with 6 over, Patton Kazir, Grayson Higo, Cole Ammer, Sodi Kodiara. 70th with 7 over, Justin Lauer, and 71st with 8 over, Kyle Stanley. Among those cut, Nate Watney, Joseph Brumlett, Hank Lebioda, Brian Stewart, Adam Schenk, Ben Taylor, Ben Griffin, Russell Knox, Callum Tarrant, Chad Ramey, Troy Merritt, Tyler Hine, Grayson Sieg, Stuart Singh, Ryan Moore, Andrew Landry, Doc Redmond, Brent Grant, Taylor Pendrith, Cam Champ, Joaquin Herman, Doug Gim, Max McGreevy, Alex Mully, Scott Piercy, Ryan Palmer, Ryan Moore, Paul Haley, Harrison Endicott, Nate Lashley, Will Gordon, Matthew Neesmith, Kevin Westmoreland, Mark Hubbard, J.B. Holmes, Matthias Schwab, Richie Wierenski, Cam Young, Kevin Tway, Kelly Kraft, Martine Laird, Dylan Lingworth, Evan Van Rooyen, Trey Molinax, Austin Cook, Adam Long, Francesco Molinari, James Hahn, Kramer Heacock, Dylan Fratelli, and withdrawing from the competition, Brian Matthews, Michael Giljic, Davis Riley, and Davis Love III. All right, now move on to NASCAR. We'll go over the results from the races this weekend. The Truck Series from Texas, your winner was Carson Hocevar, coming in second. Chase Purdy coming in third, Stuart Friesen, fourth, Ty Majeski, fifth, Jake Garcia. Did I pick Hocevar? I think I did. Sixth, Haley Deegan, seventh, Corey Heim, eighth, Ryan Vargas, ninth, James Wood, 10th, Ben Rhodes. The rest, Mason Massey, Chris Wright, Matt Crafton, Zane Smith, Christian Hex, Nick Sanchez, Grant Effinger, Lawless Allen, Raja Caruth, Colby Howard, Josh Rume, Spencer Boyd, Brett Holmes, Tanner Gray, Daniel Dye, Tyler Ankrum, Tanner Gray, Dean Thompson, Armani Williams, Trey Hutchins, Matt Mills, Matt DiBenedetto, Keith McGee, and Chad Chastain. Xfinity Series from Richmond. Your winner, Chandler Smith, coming in second. John Hunter Nemechek, third. Josh Berry, fourth. Kaz Grella, fifth. Cole Custer, sixth. Sheldon Creed, seventh. Ryan Sieg, eighth. Parker Kligerman, ninth. Austin Hill, 10th. Derek Kraus, the rest. Alex Lab, Jeb Burton, Justin Alger, Chris Hacker, Ryan Ellis, Parker Retzlaff, Sam Meyer, Jeremy Earnhardt, Sammy Smith, Kyle Sieg, Brandon Jones, Brett Moffitt, Riley Herbst, Daniel Hemrick, Leyland Honeyman, Blaine Perkins, Joey Gase, Connor Mozak, Patrick Emmerling, Garrett Smithley, Mason Maggio, Stephon Parsons, Josh Williams, Brendan Poole, Greg Goulding, Jeremy Clements, Joe Graff Jr., and Anthony Alfredo. And then your Cup Series from Texas, your winner, Kyle Larson. From Richmond. Xfinity was Richmond too. Second, Josh Berry. Third, Ross Chastain. Fourth, Chris Bell. Fifth, Kevin Harvick. Sixth, Michael McDowell. Seventh, Joey Logano. Eighth, Alec Bowman. Ninth, Ty Gibbs. 10th, Brad Keselowski. The rest, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Briscoe, Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Todd Gilliland, Tyler Reddick, Cam Smith, Ryan Preece, Harrison Burton, Denny Hamlin, Corey LaJoie, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, AJ Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, Justin Haley, Chris Boucher, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, Anthony Alfredo, Cody Ware, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., JJ Yeley, and Noah Gragson. So, night race from Bristol next week. And then you have Saturday night trucks from Bristol. And no Xfinity until the middle of the month from Martinsville on the Saturday the 15th. So that is important to note. All right. No, I did not pick the Truck Series winner right. I thought I had it host far, but I did not. Now move on to American Idol. We will look back on the episode. It was Hollywood Round. And they had the contestants choose which category to improve on, whether it's songwriting, confidence, or stage presence. Philip Phillips and Katie Turner were in charge of songwriting, Clay Aiken and David Archuleta for confidence, and Justin Guarini and Jordan Sparks for stage presence. They had them going groups. So, first up was Nutsa from Georgia, the country, performing I Surrender by Celine Dion. She did stage presence. Colin Stow did Confidence from Emory, Mississippi, performed Stone by Wiki Myers. And Sarah Beth did Confidence, and she performed Roxanne by The Police. She's from California. So those three contestants all got voted into the next round, but Sarah dropped out of the competition because she wanted to be home with her 3 young children. And Katie thinks that Sarah made a mistake. I mean, I'm always in favor of do what's best for you and do what you think is best for you. But I guess Sarah thought that she wanted to give it a try and she missed her family too much. Next group, Mary Beth Bird did stage presence from Armorel, Arkansas. She did an original. Confidence, Zachariah Smith from Amory, Mississippi. They're from the same town. He performed Cold as Ice by Foreigner. And then songwriting, Hannah Nicolaisen from Houston, 23 years old, did an original. Those 3 contestants all move on to the next round. The next group was big. So we had Wee Ani from Harlem, New York, and Olivia Soli from LA do stage presence. Malik Hurd and Kyara also did stage presence from Dallas and Algonquin, Illinois, respectively, and also doing stage presence with this group, Lyric Meteoros from Honolulu, Hawaii. So Lyric did not make it through, but the other four, Weani, Olivia, Malik, and Kyara all make it through to the next round. Next group, Paige Ann did Confidence. She's from Idaho Falls, Idaho. A young girl named Maddie Grace did Confidence. Michaela Stacy, who is the daughter of Phil Stacy, former Idol contestant, did stage presence. And then Hayden Madison did songwriting. But the ones that advanced were Paige Madison, or Hayden Madison, and I think Maddie went through as well. But Michaela, they said that she showed little improvement, but not enough. But they sent her out. Next group, Matt Wilson from Buffalo, New York, did stage presence, and then Oliver Steele did songwriting. He's from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. He was the last contestant that auditioned, that they showed audition. And both him and Matt advanced to the next round. Fire. She did Confidence. She was the girl that Katie gave a second chance. And then Lucy Love did stage presence. Both those contestants made it to the second round. Braden Phillips from Lancaster did Confidence. Mariah Faith did stage presence, as did Trey Lewis. Mariah Faith and Trey Lewis advanced. Braden Phillips, it was the end of the road for him. Emma Bussey did Confidence, and she advanced. And then Ashley Tankard, Cameron Lawson, and Megan Danielle all did Confidence. Lawson and Danielle move on. Tankard does not move on. Notables from auditions that did not make it through, according to Ryan Seacrest. You had popular contestant Oprah Kaplan, Danny Epp, Owen Eckerd, and Keelan. Well, Keelan, I'm surprised, or I should say I'm not surprised, didn't advance because Lionel gave her another audition. And then the next group, which was the last group, Dawson Wayne, Kaya Monet, and Ian Tongi all did Confidence. And all three contestants advanced into the next round. So, really good episode. We saw a lot of performances. And then next week is duets. And the twist to the season is that the judges are letting the contestants pick their partners, which is awesome. And by the way, they announced the 4th platinum ticket winner that everyone voted on during the AMAs back in November, and that winner was Elijah McCormick, who joins Kaylin Hedges, Cam Almond, and I believe the other one was Tyson Venegas. As the platinum ticket winners. So Easter Sunday Idol should be a lot of fun with duets. All right, news and notes time from the weekend. a lot of stuff that we have to get into. We will start with the NBA. So the new CBA was announced Saturday morning. There's going to be an in-season tournament, 65 game minimum for awards. All NBA to be positionless. So that's very interesting. So that's very interesting. And something else is that new NBA CBA allows players to invest in NBA and WNBA teams, sports betting, and cannabis companies. So that is very interesting and good on the NBA for getting that done. LaMarcus Aldridge is retiring after 16 seasons. Congratulations to him. Very good career. Probably Hall of Fame, right? So the 2023 Hall of Fame class. Loaded. A ton of big names in there. You have Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Becky Hammon, Greg Popovich, Gene Keady, Gene Bess, Gary Blair, David Hickson, the 1976 U.S. Olympic women's basketball team, Jim Valvano. So that's a loaded class. Congratulations to everybody involved. Damian Lillard endorses Joel Embiid for MVP. He praises Embiid and says the most dominant player in the NBA. And I would agree with Dame. I think he has been the most dominant player this season. But I don't think it's a guarantee he wins MVP. I think Giannis is in play again, too. He had a monster game last night against Philly, and he's the best player in basketball on the team with the best record, so it makes sense for Giannis to win. Speaking of Giannis, his brother, Thanasis, suspended one game after headbutting Blake Griffin on Thursday. Nick Nurse unsure on future, as he says he'll take a few weeks to see where he's at after season before deciding if he'll continue to coach. So that's very interesting. Nas Reed out 6 weeks with the fractured left wrist. Brutal news for the Minnesota Timberwolves as they are fighting for a play-in spot, if not top 6. College news. Awards were announced. Zach Edey wins the Player of the Year. That's not surprising. He was the best player in the sport this season, and he earned that award. And the National Coach of the Year, Kansas State head coach Jerome Tang. Obviously, was picked last in the Big 12. It ended up being a 3 seed and finishing third in the Big 12. So I understand why he won it, but I would have went with Shaka Smart. Marquette picked 9th in the Big East, ended up winning the league outright, and was a 2 seed in the tournament. So, and won the Big East tournament too. So, I would have went with Shaka Smart over Jerome Tang. Jerome Tang I probably would have had second. I'm not saying that's a bad choice at all. Some college stuff. Jalen Hood, Shafino entering the draft. Grady Dick entering the draft. Hunter Dickinson to the transfer portal in mid-draft speculation. Kaysen Wallace to the draft. Kobe Buffkin to the draft. Victor Wembanyama did an NBA draft troll as he gives everyone tanking for Wemby an April Fool's Day scare, which was kind of funny because he knows that half the league is giving up on their seasons because of him. As they say that he'll play another season for the Metropolitans 92. So, that was a fun April Fool's joke. Some scouts say that Bronny is an NBA player even if he weren't LeBron's son, as he's rising up draft boards. I know some people don't agree with that. Declaring for the WNBA draft is Aliyah Boston, 3-time first-team All-American. Fabulous career. She'll be missed in the sport. Some football. Some in Carolina prefer Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. I really think they're picking Bryce. I really do. I've been saying that from the start. The Giants and Dexter Lawrence are talking about an extension up to $20 million a year. They have to find a way to keep him. Big bonuses in the NFL were due on Friday, including Matt Stafford's $30 million deferred signing bonus. Some baseball news. Robbie Ray to the injured list with a left flexor strain. That is brutal for Seattle, who's 1-3 to start the year. So that's a little disastrous. This is a good one. Rob Manfred criticizes analytics as he says he agrees with an owner's statement that analytics is a race to nowhere. That's ballsy. And I think that he's taking a shot at teams like the Yankees and the Rays and teams that have just embraced analytics. The Dodgers even, but although they did win the COVID year. But that was like the outlier. The Astros kind of did it a little bit, but not a lot. But really, they cheated in 2017. But they kind of went away from analytics last year. So that was, I think, taking a shot at the Yankees personally. The San Francisco Giants signed Gary Sanchez to a minor league deal. He'll probably be a DH for them. That team is just awful offensively. Trace Thompson hit 3 home runs on Saturday night against the Diamondbacks. And I'm not the biggest Trace Thompson fan. I always thought he was a little overrated because he's Klay Thompson's brother and he always got special attention because of that. But 3 dingers is impressive. I don't care who you did that against. Especially for a guy that I look at as a 4th outfielder. The Padres handing out extensions like there's no tomorrow. Jake Cronenworth, 7 years, $80 million. So that's a interesting contract extension. As he'll be making a little over $11 million a year. So that's actually not a terrible contract. The league is investigating fan incident where there's a video showing Anthony Rendon grabbing fan's shirt on Thursday, and it's being investigated by the league. There that ends up. 5-star quarterback Jaden Davis commits to Michigan over Clemson and North Carolina, so that's a big gap for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Jonathan Taves came back on Saturday for the Blackhawks, so that's really awesome news because he's just been battling long COVID, and it's just unfortunate, his situation. Matt Barzal may play in the regular season, and he has to start skating, as Lou Lamoriello says that he will practice, as he practiced apparently over the weekend for the first time since the injury on February 18th, so keep an eye on that. Some WWE stuff in WrestleMania. The Dogfather beat The Miz at WrestleMania, so that's really interesting. And WWE sold to Endeavor Group as UFC parent company purchases WWE and forms a new 21 plus billion global live sports and entertainment company. So that's very interesting news. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So there's a couple that I liked. And the one that jumped out to me was a total in a baseball game. Believe it or not. As I am going to go lay a half unit on the over in the Rangers-Orioles game. Over 8 minus 115. That is very low, and I think there's going to be a lot of runs in that game. So over 8 in Orioles-Rangers for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show. And I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking at the everything tomorrow. And then we'll do a portfolio pick tomorrow as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.